When you think of the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, who do you picture? Is it the revolutionary firebrand or the quiet, sensitive romantic? Well, the thing is, he was both. And in this explainer, we're going to meet them. And that's a really fascinating puzzle, right? How does one person write with such furious political anger and then turn around and write with this deep personal calm? We're going to unpack this whole thing by looking at two poems that show off these two very different sides of Shelley. Let's start with the revolutionary. Okay, so first up, let's meet Shelley the revolutionary. This is the side of him that saw the injustice in the world and just had to use his poetry as a weapon for change. And the poem that really perfectly captures this is Song to the Men of England.
Now, to really get this poem, you have to know what was going on at the time. Picture it, it's 1819. We're right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution in England. And that very year, something awful happened, the Peterloo Massacre, where cavalry charged a peaceful crowd that was just asking for political reform. You can imagine, this event just lit a fire under Shelley. He responded with a whole bunch of political poems, and this was one of them.
So Shelley's looking around at the factories and the fields, and he sees this one simple, infuriating truth. The workers, the men of England, as he calls them, they were making everything, creating all the wealth. But the ruling class, they were just taking it all. It's this raw sense of exploitation that really powers this entire poem. And he doesn't just state facts, He goes right to the workers themselves with these powerful, punchy questions. The whole poem is basically a wake-up call. And he starts with the most fundamental question you can ask. Hey, why are you weaving these beautiful robes for your lords when you yourselves are wearing rags? And the argument just builds and builds with every question he asks. Think about this one. Why are you forging the very weapons that your oppressors are going to use to keep you in chains? It's a brilliant, angry, and totally logical argument. It's designed to make you furious and want to do something about it. So yeah, the themes here are crystal clear. He's not being subtle. He's not just pointing out social injustice. He is issuing a direct call for political protest. It's a passionate demand for the most basic things, equality and freedom. This isn't your quiet, sit and think about it poetry. This is a rallying cry. So when you boil it all down, Song to the Men of England is Shelley using his voice to fight for the people who didn't have one. It's poetry as a political weapon, but that's only one side of him. All right, now let's switch gears and meet a completely different Shelley. This is Shelley the romantic. We're talking about a guy who is deeply in tune with his own emotions and the incredible beauty of the natural world. And we see this perfectly in his poem, Lines Written in the Bay of Lerici. And the backstory for this poem? It could not be more different. We've jumped forward to 1822, so only 3 years later, but honestly, Shelley's in a totally different world. He's living on the Italian coast, and he wrote this poem just before he tragically died in a boating accident. So this piece really comes from that specific time, a moment of really intense personal feeling. To really get this poem, it helps to understand this idea of the romantic imagination. See, for poets like Shelley, truth wasn't something you just found in politics or logic. No, for them, it was found in powerful emotions, in the incredible, awe-inspiring power of nature, and just in the deep well of your own personal experience. And this poem just captures that idea perfectly. I mean, on the surface, it's this gorgeous description of the Italian coast. But when you read it, underneath all that beauty, you start to feel something else. There's this deep sense of fragility, a kind of emotional longing. It makes you feel like human happiness is just as beautiful and just as temporary as a sunset over the sea. So the themes here, it's a complete 180. The focus totally shifts from social injustice to the quiet beauty of nature. The call for protest, that's replaced by these deep reflections on love and emotion. And that fight for freedom we saw before, well, now it gives way to thinking about the fleeting, temporary nature of life itself. Yeah, at its heart, this poem is all about reflection. It's like Shelley is using the beauty of the Italian coast as a mirror for his own feelings about life's biggest, most personal stuff, nature, love, and just how quickly it all passes. So there you have it. Two incredibly different poems. One is like a public shout, and the other is a private whisper. And when you put them side by side, the contrast is just, wow, it's stark. And this comparison just lays it all out perfectly. Think about it. In only 3 years, he goes from the grim reality of industrial England to the peaceful Italian coast. His whole theme shifts from political protest to natural beauty. And the mood? It goes from angry and demanding all the way to calm and reflective. You could seriously be forgiven for thinking two different people wrote these poems. So the big question is, how do we square this? How can one poet possibly hold both of these voices inside him? Well, that right there, that's the key to understanding Shelley's real legacy. And this brings us right to the heart of it all. Shelley wasn't being contradictory. He was just being complete. He shows us that art doesn't have to pick a side. It can be a powerful weapon to fight for a better world, and it can be a quiet refuge for us to understand our own inner worlds. You see, they're not opposites at all. They're two essential parts of being human.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? When you look at our own complicated world today, which do you think we need more? Is it the art of protest, the art that challenges us? Or is it the art of escape, the art that gives us a moment of peace and reflection? Shelley proved that you can have both, but it's still a really interesting question to think about. What do you think?